Hello Transformers fans! Today I'll be looking at the Legion class, Dark of the Moon, Roadbuster, and Leadfoot Transformer figures. And I have to say that normally I'm not really a fan of the Legion slash Legend class figures. I just never had had too much interest in collecting them. But these guys, they come in robot mode, and the way that Hasbro sculpted these figures, the amount of detail that they really put into these really small figures is quite amazing. And they also took the time or spent the extra effort to actually apply some good paint apps. And I was really impressed by these two figures in particular. Now, these figures in terms of size are just under 3 inches tall. So if we have like an Iron Man figure here, you can see the size difference. This is just a 3 3/4 Iron Man 2 figure, but just for an idea on the size. Now let's take a look at Roadbuster first, and I'll show you what I mean by the sculpt. Actually, before I do that, just real quick, in terms of the articulation is fairly limited. And, it should come as no surprise if you're familiar with the Legends class figures, because they tend to have, very basic articulation. So what we have here with both of these figures is we have ball-jointed shoulders, ball-jointed hips, and a bend at the knee. The bend at the knee is due to the transformation. But you can get the figures into a kneeling pose, which is nice. So on to Roadbuster first. And we'll take a look at the head sculpt. Get into focus here. What Hasbro has done is they really sculpted the head sculpt as well as the entire figure very, very nicely. And not only that, but they also applied some really good paint. This is a darker silver paint. But what I really appreciate from Hasbro is the fact that they did not skimp on the paint. And, they could very easily have given us a very bland gray plastic for the head and for the body. But if you take a look at the torso here too as well, the torso is fantastically detailed, fantastically sculpted, and it has a application of this sort of darker silver paint, which is really shiny. Even the legs here. Now, there's not really any paint apps per se. This is just plastic. But what they've done is they've actually chosen some, I would say, dark gray plastic. If you look at it close, it has a bit of shimmer to it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but really nicely detailed and nicely painted figure. And I'll do a little 360 action for you. And here's another point of interest. You can see here, this is basically the underside of the spoiler and the hood, but you can see the fantastic amount of detail they put into that area. They didn't really need to, but they did, which is cool. And if you were a painter, you could probably dry brush this and make it even better with some more paint applications. But as it is, a fantastic effort by Hasbro. So let's take a look at Leadfoot in all his glorious detail as well. So Leadfoot, as you can see overall, has very short legs and a very pronounced upper body. This is the quote-unquote beer gut or beer belly that unfortunately Leadfoot is stuck with. But he's he reminds me a lot of a brawler, kind of like a bouncer, Just the way he's built, and look at his face sculpt. He looks like a mean guy. He's got a really fat head. Let me give you a better shot there. But yeah, fantastic again. Look at the sculpt on that. Look at the paint. Hasbro certainly didn't get lazy with that in this particular figure. And here we got a nice sculpt as well in the plastic. Got the Chevy logo there. And as we'll see, and as you can probably tell now, the vehicle modes for both Roadbuster and Leadfoot are the weaponized versions. So with that said, let's go ahead and transform Leadfoot here. And they both share the same basic transformation. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hood or the front of the vehicle and pull that up in place, and there you go. You've already got the front of the vehicle transformed. You want to take the legs, peg them together, and they basically just fold in on each other, or fold in onto the upper part of the leg. So you want to fold that in like that, and then you want to take the I guess I forgot to mention, in addition to the standard articulation that Roadbuster here has, Leadfoot also has articulation at the wrist. So you have this claw hand for his right hand, and you have a kind of closed fist for his left hand. But basically for the transformation, you basically want to make sure that you have that rotated in like that. So if you're looking at the underside of the vehicle, you're going to have the transformation go like that. And same thing over here, you're just going to fold that in. And let's see, I got that backwards there. There we go. So it all should just snap into place, or not really snap, but you know, it should be a really tight fit once you got it done, and it rolls very well, as you can see. Again, same transformation basically overall for Roadbuster. Roadbuster does have this additional piece here, which is the saw weapon. So if you have the deluxe class Roadbuster, you'll recognize this as the mech tech weapon for the deluxe class figure. But on to the transformation. Once again, you want to take the front of the vehicle, or what becomes the front of the vehicle, fold it up like this, and you can see the beginnings of vehicle mode, and that gives you a good look at the ball joints there. These kind of lock in place from, you know, when you're transforming from vehicle to robot. But anyhow, back to the transformation. You fold this down. You've got the front of the vehicle done. Take the legs again. You want to peg them together, and these will fold up again. The only trick is this has a little tab right there and a groove right there, so you want to make sure they line up, and once they do, you're pretty much done with the transformation. So you're going to fold the arms back, and make sure everything's nice and tight, and there you have Roadbuster and Leadfoot. Now, taking a closer look at them, you can see there is the weaponized, it has the weaponized vehicle mode. Now, it is actually really nicely detailed. For example, if you take a look at Roadbuster here, the individual exhaust pipes coming out of the motor are there. Look at that. Fantastic detail. You even got the missile pods here. You've got the netting for the stock car racer. Didn't notice that before. You got it made in China there. But you got the spoiler here. On the spoiler, you got the Autobot symbol right there. And yeah, just really nicely detailed. You can see here is the Gatling gun. You got the engine block there. And of course, you got the articulated saw weapon. So fantastic, really nice. And same thing with Leadfoot here. See, you can see all the weaponized detail as well. And of course, you got the car number, as you do with the Roadbuster figure, and the NASCAR Sprint Cup logo. It's hard to make out even in person, but it's there. So now, as far as the size of these are actually from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle, 3 inches long. And so, just as a sort of a size comparison, here are some Hot Wheels. Now, granted, these aren't your standard Hot Wheels; these are actually fantasy vehicles. But you get the idea. These are in vehicle mode. The Legion class, Roadbuster, and Leadfoot are about the same size as a Hot Wheel. So there you go. These are very nicely detailed figures for their size. I'm really impressed with them, and I'm actually really happy with them. They are around $6.50. That's at least what I paid for them at the store I was shopping at. You may find them cheaper, you may find them a little more expensive, but that's about probably what you can expect to pay. Alright, well, thanks for watching. This has been my review of Transformers Legion class, Dark of the Moon, Roadbuster, and Leadfoot. 2 thumbs up, definitely worth buying, and thanks for watching.